Imagine a world where the sun never sets. It stands still forever on the horizon, painting the sky in a muted shade of orange. A deep, tired amber that never fades. No sunrise, no sunset, just a single eternal moment suspended in time. Here, time is not measured by day or night, but by stillness. The air is thin, cold, yet strangely warm near the light. A perpetual twilight that stretches across an entire world. You feel it in your bones, that strange peace of knowing nothing changes. Not the shadows, not the light, just the soft hum of a star that never moves. On one side, endless day, a furnace of unblinking radiation. On the other, infinite night, a frozen abyss where even the sound of your own breath seems to vanish. But between them lies a ribbon, a thin, glowing scar of constant dusk. That's where we're going. Imagine standing there. The star hangs low, just above the horizon. It's larger than any sun you've ever seen, a deep, angry red. Not harsh, not blinding, like dying embers. It casts no sharp shadows. Everything is bathed in that soft, hazy glow. The ground beneath your feet is a landscape of jagged rock and frozen dust. Some places look like black glass, others like fields of ancient ice. And the silence. That's what hits you first. There's no wind, no movement. The atmosphere is thin, held in place by the planet's gravity, but it's almost static. The only sound might be the low rumble of your own blood, or perhaps a faint, almost imperceptible hum from the star itself. A 432 Hz vibration, a cosmic drone. Scientists call this a tidally locked world, a planet so close to its star that one face is forever turned toward the light, the other locked in perpetual shadow. But that term, tidally locked, it sounds so mechanical, so distant. But here, in this silent twilight, it's a symphony. A slow, endless melody of balance, light and dark, heat and cold, motion and stillness. You might wonder, could anything live here, in this frozen desert of eternal dusk? Perhaps. On that thin boundary, where the star's warmth just barely touches the cold of the dark side, there could be a ribbon of liquid water. Not oceans, not rivers, just a thin, glowing film, a permanent mist. And in that mist, maybe something stirs. Something that doesn't need a day or a night. Something that breathes the rhythm of a sun that never rises or sets. Think about it. Life on Earth chases the sun. Plants turn toward it. Animals follow its arc. But here, life would be patient, static. It would exist in a single eternal moment. No rush, no urgency, just the slow, steady hum of existence. Close your eyes. Feel that imaginary ground. The rocks are cold, but the light on your skin is warm. Not hot, just a gentle warmth, like a distant fire. The sky above is a gradient of deep purple and burnt orange. Stars flicker faintly in the darker band near the zenith. But the star itself, that red sun, it dominates everything. It's always there, watching, unmoving. You can let go now, let the mind drift. There's no need to keep track of time. Time here is just a long, slow breath, in and out. The star doesn't blink, the shadows don't move. You are suspended in that ribbon of eternal sunset. And that stillness, it's not emptiness, it's a different kind of fullness, a presence, the universe holding its breath. So, let's stay here for a while, in this quiet borderland, between day and night, between light and dark, where the only sound is the star's low drone and the soft whisper of your own thoughts settling down to rest. Just breathe and listen. The eternal sunset is waiting, and it has all the time in the universe. Perhaps you're wondering, what could possibly live here in a world where one side burns and the other freezes, where the sun never moves and the shadow never lifts? But life doesn't ask for much. It just needs a crack, a sliver of possibility. And here, in this eternal twilight, that crack is wide open. You see, the Terminator line, that thin ribbon between day and night, it's not just a boundary, it's a sanctuary, a place where temperatures hover around the freezing point of water, where the star's red light falls at a constant, gentle angle, never shifting, never fading, just there, always there. Imagine standing on that line. The ground beneath your feet is cool, not freezing, not hot. A soft breeze blows from the dayside, carrying warmth, but it's not a harsh wind. No, it's more like a breath, a long, slow exhale from the star itself. And in this gentle balance, things begin to grow. Not the way you're used to, of course. No forests reaching for a moving sun, no flowers turning their faces to follow the light. Here, plants grow sideways. They stretch their leaves horizontally, catching the low-hanging rays. Their stems are thick, succulent, storing water from the occasional mist that rolls in from the dark side. And the mist, it's not water as you know it. It's made of methane, ethane, maybe, compounds that would be gas on Earth, but here, in the cold of the night side, they condense into fog. It creeps along the ground like a living thing, licking the edge of the day, then retreating back into shadow. A dance of vapor and light. But these plants, if we can call them that, they don't just survive, they communicate. Through the soil, through the mycelium-like networks that thread the ground, pulsing with slow chemical signals. They warn each other when the star flares, releasing a burst of radiation. They share nutrients gathered from the sparse minerals. It's a silent, patient conversation, one that's been going on for billions of years. And then there are the creatures. They move slowly, slower than anything on Earth. Why rush when there's no day and night to hurry you? No predators that depend on sudden movements. Their bodies are flat, disc-like, crawling along the boundary. They have no eyes. Why need them when the light never changes? Instead, they sense heat. They feel the gradient between the warm day side and the cold night side, and they follow it like a compass pointing always toward the perfect temperature. These creatures, they feed on the plants, but they don't compete. There's enough for everyone because the sun's energy is constant, reliable. The ecosystem here isn't driven by seasons or cycles, it's driven by stability, by equilibrium. You might think that sounds peaceful, and it is, but it's also deeply alien. Because nothing here is in a hurry. Everything is patient. Everything waits. The plants wait for nutrients. The creatures wait for the mist. The rocks wait for the slow, creeping erosion of the wind. And in this waiting, time becomes something else. Not a river, not a line, more like a pool. Still, deep. You can step into it and it holds you. But wait, there's something else. Something hiding in the darkness of the night side. Because life isn't just confined to the Terminator line. Oh no. The night, the eternal frozen night, it has its own secrets. Beneath the ice, where the star's light never reaches, there might be oceans. Liquid water kept warm by the planet's core. Geothermal vents spewing heat and chemicals. And in those dark seas, perhaps, other forms of life. Chemosynthetic, creatures that don't need sunlight at all. We don't know yet. We can't know. Not until we send probes. Not until we look closer. But the possibility, It hangs in the air, like that mist along the border, glowing faintly in our imagination. So I ask you again, what could possibly live here? And the answer, it's not simple. It's not a single species or a single ecosystem. It's a mosaic, a symphony of adaptations, each note playing at its own pace, in its own key. The star's red light is the conductor, gravity is the stage, and the terminator line, that's where the music gathers, where the strings of the day and the brass of the night meet, blending into something haunting, something that hums at the frequency of 432 Hertz. Listen, can you hear it? Not with your ears, but with your bones, with the quiet spaces between your thoughts. The eternal sunset isn't just a place, it's a state of being, a reminder that not all boundaries are walls. Some are places of convergence, of creation, where two opposites don't fight, they merge, they sing. And in your own life, maybe you felt that, a moment between waking and sleeping, between holding on and letting go. That's where we are now, on the edge of understanding, on the border of a world we've never seen, and we're about to step across. But not yet. First we breathe. First we let the quiet settle around us like an old blanket. So rest your mind. Let your thoughts drift like those creatures along the Terminator. Slow, patient, without urgency. The mysteries of this place aren't going anywhere. They've been waiting for billions of years. They can wait a little longer. And when you're ready, we'll venture deeper into the twilight, into the heart of the eternal dusk, where the star's light is both home and horizon, where life finds a way, not despite the stillness, but because of it. Just breathe, just listen. The symphony is playing, and the first movement, it's only just begun. Can you feel it? That weight, not of gravity, but of permanence. The sun doesn't move, it doesn't rise, it doesn't set. It just is. A fixed ember in a frozen sky. On the day side, the ground bakes under an endless noon. But here, where we drift, along this thin ribbon of twilight, the temperature is just right. Not hot, not cold, perfectly balanced between extremes. This is where the water gathers, where clouds form and never break, where mist clings to the rocks like a second skin. You might expect silence to be empty, but it's not. Listen closer. There's a low hum deep beneath the surface, tidal forces squeezing the planet's core, a heartbeat, slow and steady. One beat every few hours, or maybe days. Time is slippery here. Imagine a forest, but not like any you've seen. Tall, slender stalks, dark purple or deep blue, reaching toward that unmoving sun. Their leaves don't flutter, there's no wind to speak of. They simply absorb the constant light, converting it into slow, patient growth. They don't race, they don't compete. There's no urgency in a world without seasons. And in the shade, on the night side, things are different. Cold, dark, still, but not dead. Perhaps there are creatures that crawl along the Terminator, never venturing too far into the light or the dark, moving just enough to stay in the comfort zone. They follow the edge of warmth, like a living compass. Their world is a line, not a circle. We don't know what they look like, we can only imagine. Translucent bodies, catching the twilight like stained glass. Or maybe they're flat, pressing against the ground, absorbing heat through their skin. Every form a solution to the same problem: how to live where everything is constant, where change is a stranger. The star itself is old, a red dwarf, dim and steady. It will burn for trillions of years, longer than our sun, longer than any star we know. So this world, this twilight world, has all the time in the universe to evolve, to refine, to perfect its stillness. There's no hurry, no deadline, no morning rush. And the symphony? It's not music as we know it. It's the hum of the core, the rustle of leaves that never move, the slow breath of a planet that never turns. A single note, held forever, a chord that never resolves. Just let that settle. Let the idea of a world without night or day become a lullaby. A place where the horizon is always golden, always soft, always there. You don't need to see it all. You just need to feel it. The weight of a sun that never sets. The cool shadow of a night that never comes. And in the middle, where we stay, the eternal sunset glows. Warm, safe, unchanging. Rest here. There's no need to move. The next movement will find you when you're ready. A slow drift. That's what it feels like here. Not quite floating, not quite falling, just suspended. In the warm amber glow of a star that refuses to move. Imagine a world where the sun is always caught on the edge of the horizon. Not rising, not setting, just hanging there, like a held breath. The sky above you bleeds from deep orange into pale gold, then into a bruised violet that never quite becomes night. And below you, under your feet, the ground is neither hot nor cold. It's temperate, perfect. The kind of warmth you feel on your skin when you're standing in the shadow of a building on a summer evening. This is the Terminator zone, the ring of eternal twilight. On a tidally locked planet, one side always faces its star. That side burns. The atmosphere there, if it exists, is a furnace. The other side always faces away, frozen, dark, a place where even the air itself might be locked in a crystalline sleep. But here, where we are, here the light comes from the side, slanting, gentle. It never changes. And that constancy, it's hard to grasp. On Earth, we measure our lives by the arc of the sun. Morning, noon, evening, night. The rhythm of waking and resting. But here there is no rhythm, no cycle, just a single, unending moment. So how does life begin in such a place? How does anything learn to breathe when the sun never blinks? That's the mystery we're drifting into now. Not with answers, but with questions. Questions that feel like soft edges in the dark. Think of the plants, if there are plants. They wouldn't stretch toward the sun the way they do on Earth. The sun is always there, at the same angle. So their leaves, their fronds, they would grow sideways, horizontal, like outstretched arms reaching for a light that never moves. They might be black, not green. Black to absorb every possible photon in that dim, perpetual dusk. Or maybe they're translucent, filtering the light through layers of organic glass. Listen, you can almost hear the stillness of such a forest. No wind from day to night shifts. No breeze stirred by temperature changes. Just a quiet so deep it becomes a presence. And the creatures, if they exist, they would have no concept of time, no instinct to sleep at night because there is no night, no need to wake at dawn because there is no dawn. They would move slowly, if at all, their metabolism matched to the unchanging light. Perhaps they're not animals in the way we understand, more like persistent patterns, collectors of photons, drifters in the eternal gold. There's a theory, one that astronomers whisper over long nights on mountaintops, that life on these worlds might not be born in water, but in the thin film of liquid that exists only at the terminator. A narrow band, maybe only a few hundred kilometers wide, where temperatures allow water to stay fluid, a ribbon of possibility wrapped around the planet, a thread of life in a universe of extremes. And the light itself, it's not sunlight as you know it. The star, a red dwarf, burns cooler. Its spectrum shifts toward the infrared. So the world we're imagining is not bathed in bright yellow. It's drenched in a deep ruby-toned glow, like looking through a glass of aged wine. This glow, it touches everything: the rocks, the dust, the thin, hazy clouds that might cling to the terminator. They reflect the red, scatter it, until the entire sky feels like the inside of a ruby. Warm, heavy, safe. You could lie on a ridge there, watching that unmoving sun, and feel the weight of forever pressing down on your chest. Not crushing, just present. Now, let your mind drift a little further. Imagine that the planet has an ocean, a great still body of water that wraps around the terminator like a ring, not churning with waves because there are no tides from a locked star, no moon to pull it. The water would be glass smooth, a mirror reflecting that eternal sunset. And in that ocean, something moves. Not a fish, something slower. Something that absorbs its energy not from the dim light, but from the slight temperature difference between the warm day side and the cold night side. A creature that lives on the gradient, a living heat engine. You see, this world is not about motion, it's about persistence, about existing in a state that seems impossible from our spinning, orbiting, restless Earth. And maybe that's why it's so soothing, because here there is no urgency, no need to chase the sun, no need to escape the dark. The sun is always where it is, the dark is always where it is, and in between there is only this. Let that settle. The image of a world that has stopped. Not dead, but paused. A planet holding its breath, waiting for something we don't understand. But wait, there's a subtlety here that astronomers love to argue about. A planet locked to its star is not perfectly still. Every orbit is a libration, a slow, tiny wobble. The terminator zone actually shifts, just a little, over long periods. A few degrees, a few kilometers. Over hundreds of years, the line between day and night creeps forward, then back. A slow dance, a heartbeat of the planet. So nothing is truly frozen. The eternal sunset is not absolute. It breathes. On timescales we can barely perceive, the light shifts, the shadows move, and the life there, if it's adapted to that slow oscillation, would feel it. A deep geological pulse, a season that lasts centuries. Imagine growing up on such a world. You would never see the sun move during your lifetime, but your grandparents might have told stories of a time when the light fell differently, when the twilight was a little more blue or a little more red. And that's the opening, the loop that pulls us deeper. Because if the terminator breathes, then the boundary of life is not a line, it's a zone. A region where the conditions for existence are always changing, always migrating. So maybe the creatures there are not stationary. Maybe they follow the twilight, a slow, generational migration, tracking the eternal dawn. Now, let your attention drift back to the immediate feeling, the warmth on your face from that unmoving sun, the cool air on your back from the shadow side, the perfect balance, the kind of equilibrium you feel when you're lying in bed, half asleep, and the blankets are just right. Not too hot, not too cold. This is the gift of the tidally locked world, a lesson in stillness, in the beauty of an unchanging horizon. And as the stars, the real stars, the distant ones, wheel slowly overhead in their own eternal dance, you might notice something strange. The sky here is not black. It's a deep, dark purple, because the red dwarf's light scatters through the thin atmosphere, painting even the nightward edge with a faint, ruddy hue. So even in what should be darkness, there is a whisper of light. There's a term in astronomy, habitable edge, the zone where life might cling, and on these worlds, the habitable edge is not a line, it's a ring, a narrow belt hugging the planet's waist. And that ring is where we are, in our imagination, floating, listening, letting the quiet soak in. Now, a mystery, a clue, something to carry forward. Scientists have simulated the climate of tidally locked planets, and they found something unexpected. In some models, the terminator zone is not just temperate, it's covered in permanent, thick clouds that form from the steady evaporation of water from the day side, condensing as it drifts into the cold night. These clouds reflect light. They make the twilight even more diffuse, even softer, but they also trap heat, so the terminator could be warmer than expected. A greenhouse of perpetual dusk. And in such a greenhouse, what might grow? What might evolve? The answer is not here yet. The loop is open, but for now, let it hang. Let it be a question that adds texture to the stillness. You don't need to solve it. You don't need to understand. Just listen to the way the words feel, the way the idea of a world of eternal sunset wraps around you like a familiar blanket. The light is warm, the dark is distant, and you are here in between. Let the weight of the star press gently against your thoughts. Let the silence of the terminator fill you. There is no need to hold on. This is a place where time softens, where edges blur, where the mind can finally rest. And as the next movement approaches, you may feel a subtle shift, a slight coolness, as if the nightward side is breathing closer. But don't worry, the twilight will hold you. The eternal sunset will glow. You are safe, you are drifting, and the symphony is just beginning its second movement. The second movement, it does not announce itself with drum rolls or crescendos. It simply arrives, like a breath you did not realize you were holding, finally released. And in that release, the landscape shifts, not violently, not suddenly. The orange of the eternal sunset begins to deepen, pulling in threads of violet and a dusky blue that the dayward side never sees. Look closer now. There is no horizon line here, not in the way we understand it. The terminator is a blurred ribbon, a place where light and dark have learned to dance without touching, and on this ribbon, life has learned to cling. Imagine a forest where every leaf faces the same direction, toward that unmoving sun. The trees are tall, not like the ones we know. They rise slowly, as if time itself has slowed for them. Their trunks are pale, almost translucent, catching the light and holding it inside. At their roots, something moves, a soft rustle that is not wind. It is the sound of small creatures, nocturnal and diurnal at once. They never experience true darkness or true brightness, only this eternal twilight. Their eyes have adapted, wide and sensitive, able to see in the dim glow of a sun that never sets. They do not sleep, not as we do. Instead, they drift into something between waking and dreaming, a state of being that is restful. You may feel a kinship with them because here, on this world where time is measured not by the rising of a star, but by the slow pulse of the planet itself, your own sense of time begins to dissolve. There is no rush, no appointment, no tomorrow morning alarm. Only the soft hum of the atmosphere, a low 432 Hz vibration that the planet sings, a note so deep it is felt more than heard. It resonates in your chest, in your bones. The temperature here is a constant, cool enough to keep the air clear, but warm enough to allow liquid water to pool in shallow basins. These basins are not oceans, more like mirrors, reflecting the eternal sunset. And in those mirrors, you can see the second movement of the symphony, a reflection of the first but softer, as if the world is singing its own lullaby back to itself. Let your gaze travel along the terminator. Follow the line where light and shadow meet. It curves gently, a smile of the planet, and along that curve, The colors change, from deep indigo to burnt umber, from rose to silver. There is no sound of birds, no insect chatter, just the whisper of the wind, a wind that blows always from the day side to the night side, carrying warmth toward the cold, carrying the scent of minerals, and something else, something organic, life. The life here does not compete, it does not struggle, it simply finds its place along the gradient of light. Some beings prefer to be closer to the sun, others edge toward the shadow. Each has its niche, its rhythm in the stillness. You might imagine yourself walking there, barefoot on the damp soil that never dries. The ground is spongy, covered in a mat of moss-like growth that glows faintly. A soft bioluminescence, just enough to see. And as you walk, you notice that the moss responds to your footsteps. A ripple of light spreads from where you step, then fades, like a gentle acknowledgement, a greeting. There is no urgency, no destination. You are simply moving, breathing, existing in this place where existence itself becomes a meditation. The second movement of the symphony is about balance, the balance between light and darkness, between warmth and cold, between motion and stillness. And you are part of that balance now. Let your thoughts drift like the wind, from the dayside across the terminator into the endless night. But you do not need to go there. The twilight will hold you. It stretches on forever, a ribbon of gold and violet wrapping around the world. The stars are visible here. In the twilight sky, they appear as tiny sparks, not bright enough to compete with the eternal sunset, but present, watching. They are the same stars you might see from Earth, but from here they look different, distant, unconcerned. Take a slow breath, in, out. Feel the air fill your lungs. It is thin, clean, carrying the faintest hint of ozone from the constant electrical activity in the upper atmosphere. Silent lightning, storms that never touch the ground, and in that silence, the second movement draws you deeper. You are no longer a visitor, you are becoming part of the landscape. Your heartbeat slows to match the planet's pulse. Your thoughts soften. There is a wisdom in this place, a knowledge that time is not a line but a circle, that day and night are not opposites but partners, that here, in this eternal sunset, you can rest, truly rest. The symphony continues. Its second movement is long, patient. It does not need to hurry, neither do you. Just let the twilight hold you. Let the 432 Hz hum carry you. Let the stillness become you. And when the second movement eventually gives way to the third, you will not notice, because you will be asleep, deeply asleep, drifting in the space between stars and the space between thoughts. Rest now. The eternal sunset glows. The terminator waits. The symphony plays on. The third movement begins where the second one ended. Not with a sound, not with a shift in light, but with a realization that you were never truly awake to begin with. The eternal sunset does not move. It does not flicker. It does not age. But you do. Drifting, sinking, deeper than any ocean you have ever known. And then, the twist arrives. Not as a crash, not as a revelation shouted across the void, but as a quiet, almost forgettable thought. A thought that settles into your mind like dust onto a frozen sea. What if the terminator line is not a boundary? What if it is a membrane? A thin, stretched surface between two states of being? And what if the light on one side and the dark on the other are not opposites at all? They are two faces of the same thing, two notes in the same chord. the 432 Hz hum that has been carrying you. It is not a background tone. It is the planet singing. The tidally locked world is not dead or silent. It is alive, but alive in a way that our minds cannot measure. Alive in a way that does not move, does not breathe, does not metabolize. Alive as a single, vast, coherent thought. Imagine a consciousness that does not need to rush, that does not need to decide, that simply observes. And its observation is so slow, so patient, that a single thought takes 10,000 years to complete. The eternal sunset is its gaze. The terminator is its eyelid. The wind that brushes past the rocks is its whisper. And you, lying there, drifting, you are being listened to. Not judged, not measured, just known. The planet knows you are here. It has known since before you were born. It will know after you are gone. Its awareness is not like yours. It does not have a beginning or an end. It simply is. And this is the twist. You are not exploring a world. You are being absorbed into a symphony. A symphony that has been playing since the first star ignited. And the 432 Hz hum is not a frequency we invented. It is the resonance of that original thought. The light that never moves, the dark that never arrives, they are the same thing. They are the planet breathing in and out, inhaling light, exhaling shadow. And you, in this moment, are caught in the breath. Do not be afraid. There is nothing to fear. The planet does not want anything from you. It only wants to share its stillness, its patience, its ancient, unbroken hum. Let your thoughts become like the terminator, not moving, not resisting, just a thin line between what is known and what is unknown, between waking and dreaming, between you and the eternal. The third movement is not a story. It is a dissolving, a gentle unraveling of the self into the fabric of the sunset, and the 432 Hz wave continues, unchanging, unhurried, unbroken. So when you wake, if you wake, you will not remember the twist. You will not remember the planet's thought. But you will feel it, a quiet hum in the bones, a warmth that does not come from the sun, a stillness that does not leave. Rest now. The eternal sunset glows. The terminator waits. The symphony plays on. The fifth movement does not begin. It simply is. It is the dark side of the planet, the hemisphere that has never seen a sunrise. No star, no glow, only the deep velvet black of space pressing against the ground. Here the silence is heavier. The air is colder, but not dead, never dead. Because even in the absolute night, there is a rhythm. The planet's core still hums, the ground still breathes, and the creatures here, they have learned to see without light. They navigate by touch, by sound, by the faint vibration of the star's gravity pulling through the rock. Their bodies are bioluminescent ribbons glowing in slow, pulsing waves. Not to attract, not to warn, simply to be. A gentle phosphorescence that drifts through the dark, like a dream you cannot quite remember. And the terminator, the thin line where day and night meet, is not a wall. It is a gradient. A slow fade from scarlet to violet to indigo to black. And along that gradient, life does not choose one side or the other. It straddles the edge. It lives in the blur. Imagine standing there, your feet in the twilight, your back to the eternal night, your face to the unmoving sun. The wind is a steady whisper, the ground is warm beneath you, and the sky is a dome of layered colors, pink, orange, gold, fading into star-shot darkness above. You could stand there forever. The planet would not notice. The sun would not move. And that is the twist. Not that time stops, but that it becomes irrelevant. You are no longer a creature of clocks and calendars. You are a creature of light and shadow, of stillness and motion, of the space between breaths. The 432 Hz wave has become part of the planet's own voice. It resonates in the crystal dust. It hums in the stalks of photonic light. It echoes in the bioluminescent ribbons of the dark side. And you are inside that resonance now. There is a creature on the night side that never moves. It is a dome of dark stone, covered in fine, hair-like tendrils. It does not feed. It does not reproduce. It simply listens. It has been listening for millions of years, to the stars' whisper, to the planet's pulse, to the slow migration of the terminator. And you, lying here, are that creature, not in body, but in mind. You are the listener, the one who does not need to move, the one who simply receives. The symphony of the eternal sunset is not a melody. It is a state of being. A state where every particle of your awareness is spread thin across the boundary between light and dark. And there is no tension, no resistance, only a gentle, floating acceptance. Feel it now. The warmth on your skin, the coolness on your back, the hum in your bones. You are the terminator. You are the line. You are the space where two opposites meet and become one. The planet has no name, but you know it. It is the world where you have always been. A place where rest is not an activity. It is the only thing that exists. The 432 Hz wave deepens, slows, becomes a single, sustained note. And in that note, the sunset is frozen. The dark side is warm. The creatures are still. And you are the quiet breath that holds it all together. Rest now. The symphony does not need to end. It only needs to be. And it is. Beyond that stillness, the terminator is not a line. It is a wound, a slow bleeding of light into shadow. And on this world, the wound has never healed. The creatures here do not know the word dawn. They have never felt the cold of night. Their world is a single, endless moment, a breath held for 1 billion years. On the dark side, the ground is warm. Geothermal vents pulse like ancient hearts. And in that warmth, something grows. Not plants, not animals, something else. A kind of membrane, a film of life that covers the rock in a sheen of amber. It does not photosynthesize. It does not eat. It simply exists. Absorbing the heat, radiating a faint glow. A glow that matches the frequency of the universe. And on the light side, where the star never moves, the ground is a desert of shattered glass. The sunlight is constant, unforgiving. But at the edge of the terminator, where the light bends and softens, there is a ribbon of green, a forest of crystals. Or is it a network of nerves? The line between living and not living is blurred here. It always was. The creatures on this world have no eyes, no ears. They feel. They feel the press of gravity, the pull of the star, the hum of the rock. And you feel it too. As your breath slows, your body remembers a time before time. A time when you were not a person. You were a rhythm. The 432 Hz hum is not sound. It is a texture. A fabric that wraps around the world. And inside that fabric, the creatures drift. They do not move, they are moved. One of them extends a filament, touches another, and in that touch, a thought is shared. Not a word, not an image, a feeling. The feeling of being held in a single, endless note. On this world, there is no change, no progress, no past. There is only the present. And the present is a diamond, hard, clear, unbreakable. You are inside that diamond now. The edges of your body soften, the boundaries dissolve. You are not here to observe, you are here to become. The sunset does not move, you move. You drift through the amber light, through the warm dark. You are the breath that passes between the stars. And ahead of you, the membrane pulses. Once. In that pulse, you feel a question. Not in words, in a ripple. The question is, have you always been here? And in the silence before your answer, the symphony holds its breath. You do not answer, not with words. The question was never meant to be answered. It was meant to be felt. And in that feeling, the membrane softens. It pulls you closer, not with force, with patience. You pass through. Beyond the pulse, there is no light, no dark, only the slow, deep hum of something older than stars. The symphony does not play here. It rests. You rest with it. Imagine a sound so low it becomes a texture. A vibration that presses against your skin like warm water. That is what you feel now. Not hearing, being. Time collapses. Not backward, not forward. It simply stops folding. You are here, in the crease between moments. And in that crease, you remember something. Not a memory, more like a scent. The smell of dust after rain. The feeling of a hand you once held. But it is not yours. It belongs to the symphony, to the world that has no sunrise. The vibration shifts. A single note, so pure it hurts. Not your ears, your chest. It resonates with the hollow space inside you. The space you always thought was empty. But it was not empty, it was waiting. The note fades. What replaces it is not silence. It is the absence of sound. A quiet so complete it has weight. You float in it, like a mote of dust in a sunbeam that never moves. You open your eyes, or maybe you close them. It does not matter here. What you see is the membrane from the other side. It glows faintly, like a bruise on the sky. On its surface, patterns drift. Not random, intentional. They are the thoughts of the world, the slow, deliberate meditation of a planet that has always known stillness. You realize the question was not for you. It was the world asking itself, and in its own question, it found its answer. The answer is yes. Yes, it has always been here. Yes, you have always been here. Not as a self, as a part. The patterns slow. They begin to spiral inward, drawing you with them. You do not resist. There is nowhere to resist to. You are the spiral. At the center, there is a point of stillness. Not a place, a state. You enter it. There is no wind here, no hum, no pulse. Only the quiet that comes after a long exhale. And in that quiet, the symphony begins again. Not from the beginning, from the end. It plays the final note first, the note that holds all other notes inside it. You feel it in your bones, in the spaces between your thoughts. The note lengthens. It stretches into something that is not time. You stretch with it. Until you are no longer a listener. You are the note. And then, nothing. Not blackness. Not light. The space before either. This is where the world rests, between day and night, between sound and silence, between being and not being. You rest here too, not for a moment, for what feels like forever, but forever has no meaning here. There is only the slow breath of the cosmos, and you are that breath. The membrane pulses again. This time, it is a release. You feel yourself drift away, not back, through. The amber light returns. The warm dark waits on the other side. But you are different now. You have touched the silence at the core. And it has touched you. You float through the eternal sunset. The stars do not move. You do not need them to. You are the stillness between their lights. The symphony plays on. You are no longer a part of it. You are it. Close your eyes now. Let the amber light fill you. Let the warm dark hold you. There is no question left, only the answer. And the answer is quiet. And quiet is enough. Good night. And yet, the stillness deepens. Above you, the star hangs unchanged. Its light spills across the terminator like honey poured from an endless jar. Warmth on your left cheek, coolness on your right. Your skin remembers the boundary your mind has forgotten. Below, the ground is not ground as you know it. It is a mosaic of dust and glass, baked by eons of unmoving sun. Crystals grow in the perpetual twilight. They do not hurry. They catch the amber rays and scatter them into 1,000 tiny suns. You drift lower. Your breath slows. The air is thin and still. It carries no scent of earth, no memory of rain. Only the faint, mineral tang of worlds that have never known a season. Look to the dark side. It is not empty. It is a basin of waiting. The cold there is not absence. It is a presence, a deep, patient quiet that holds the heat of the day in a kind of embrace. The symphony you heard earlier? It comes from the friction of tides. The planet pulls against its star. The crust groans in a single, endless note. Not a sound for ears, a vibration for the bones. You feel it now in your chest. It is the pulse of a world that has no night and no day. Only the line, the eternal now. You float along that line like a feather caught in the balance. There are creatures here. You sense them more than see them. They are slow. They are made of the same minerals. They bask in the edge of warmth, then retreat into the dark to cool. Their lives last for centuries. Their movements are the slow dance of continents. One of them turns toward you. Its eye is a lens of salt and ice. It does not fear you. It does not wonder. It simply sees you as part of the light, and you are. The amber filters through your eyelids. The dark wraps around your back. You are no longer a visitor. You are a particle in the eternal sunset. Let the star burn in your peripheral vision. Let the cold side breathe against your spine. There is nothing to hold on to. There is nothing to let go of. The symphony plays the same note over and over. It is the note of now. It is the note of here. It is the note of you, dissolved into the crease between light and darkness. Listen. The crystals are singing, not with voice, but with vibration. Their edges resonate with the star's constant push. The planet hums. The air hums. You hum too. A low, steady note. The note of a world that has never known change. There is no need to return. There is no need to stay. The Terminator is a place without memory. You are a place without memory now. Only the amber. Only the dark. Only the pause between them. Rest here. The crystals will not move. The star will not set. The wind, what little there is, will not rise. Everything is as it has always been. Everything is as it will always be. You are the stillness. You are the symphony. You are the answer. And the answer is quiet. But here, in this stillness, something else breathes. Not a breath of wind. No, a breath of time itself. Look closer at the amber. It isn't empty. It holds a pulse. A slow, crystalline pulse. The line between day and night. It isn't a wall. It's a membrane. Thin. Translucent. Alive. On one side, the star blazes, unmoving, unblinking. On the other, the void pools, deep, patient. And between them, the world holds its breath. But the world can't hold its breath forever. Something shifts. Not in the star, not in the dark, in the pause. You see, when time doesn't move forward, when there is no morning, no evening, the moments themselves become heavy. They sink. They fold. They begin to resonate. Can you feel it? That low hum beneath the silence. Not a sound, a pressure. A weight in the air that isn't air. The crystals don't just sit there. They sing. So slowly you'd never call it music. But it is. A song that takes 1,000 years to play one note. And you lying there in the amber glow. You are part of that song now. Your breath slows to match the crystal's rhythm. Your heartbeat finds the pulse of the twilight stripe. And somewhere far from here, in another world with another sky, another creature is doing the same. Can you sense them? Not with your ears, not with your mind, with something deeper. The membrane between worlds, it's thinner than we thought. When two worlds share the same pause, when two stars hold the same unmoving light, the space between them, it bends. Imagine another twilight, on another rock, orbiting another red star. The same amber, the same dark. But the crystals there, they are blue. And in that blue stillness, something breathes. Something waits. Something that has been listening. Not a creature, not a plant. Something in between. A presence that lives in the pause itself. It doesn't move. It doesn't change. But it knows you are here. How? Because the pause you share, the pause between the amber and the dark, it's the same pause. The same fold in time. The same membrane. And on the other side of that membrane, there is another story. A story not of stillness, but of arrival. A ship, small, silent, drifting in from the dark. Not a ship of metal, not a ship of wood, a ship of resonance. It carries no crew. It carries a single note. A note that has been traveling for longer than your planet has known light. And that note, it is looking for an answer. An answer to a question that hasn't been asked yet. A question that will only be formed when the note finds its twin. And here, in this amber twilight, in this eternal pause, the twin is waiting. The note from the ship and the crystal song beneath your feet. They are the same note. They have been calling to each other for eons. And now they are almost together. But not yet. Not here. This is where the story folds. This is where one pause ends and another begins. So stay here. Stay in the amber. Stay in the dark between the star and the void. Because when the note arrives, when the crystal song and the ship song finally touch, the membrane will open, and you will see what lies beyond. But first, rest. Rest in the knowledge that the pause has never been empty. Rest in the certainty that you are being listened to. Rest in the music that has yet to play its final note. The amber glows. The dark waits. The crystals hum. And the ship draws nearer. Somewhere else, in another twilight, on another tidally locked world, the blue crystals are waiting too. And between them, between the amber and the blue, between the two notes that are the same note, there is a bridge. A bridge of silence, a bridge of pause, a bridge you can travel without moving. But that is another story, for another night. For now, let the amber hold you. Let the dark surround you. Let the crystals sing you deeper into the pause. You are the stillness. You are the symphony. You are the answer. And the answer is listening.